Hello and welcome to this edition of Minstrels on the Block, where we interview local singer-songwriters from the Valley area. Last week we had Brittany Avery. This week we have Sarah J. from Ophir Drive. So Sarah, good to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me about yourself. Where were you born?
I was born in Maine.
It's quite a ways away.
Yeah.
What brings you to Columbus?
I was married to a soldier, and I would say that's probably what brings about half the people down here. So,
Yes.
yeah. So, not anymore, but I was. So that's why I'm here.
So tell me about Maine.
Well, it's really pretty, but there's not a lot to do there, which is why I don't live there anymore. I grew up on a small farm, and it was really pretty, and I had like horses and rabbits and chickens and stuff like that, and I led hiking and camping trips in my spare time, and yeah, a very, very different existence than what I do now, I guess.
So tell me about farm life in Maine.
Well, like I said, it was a small farm, so, I didn't have dairy cows or, beef cows or anything like that, but I've been training horses since I was 8 years old, and we had rabbits and chickens. We didn't eat the rabbits, we just had them because they were cute, but we did eat the eggs from the chickens, and so, every morning I would have to get up and go out and do my chores, and then go to school, and then come home and do my chores, and it was a lot of work for a young age, so.
Man.
Yeah.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I do. I have an older brother. His name is Adam. He's in the Navy. And I have two much younger siblings who are still up in Maine.
Wow. Do you come from a musical family?
Nope, I'm a freak of nature. Nobody really knows where it came from. My grandmother was an elementary school teacher, and she taught piano in the afternoons. Wow. But nobody really had like the drive and dedication to pursue music or anything, the way that I do. My aunt is a graphic artist and really fantastic artist, but visual artist, not musician. Right. So, yeah, nobody knows where it came from. Nobody really understands, but that's okay because they know I like it, and they're like, well, if that's what makes you happy, honey, then,
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
How long have you been in Columbus?
I have been here. Actually, I believe today makes the 2-year anniversary of the day I moved in. So that's fun. And, yeah, it's been a really awesome 2 years. So starting my 3rd year here. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Now, Maine and Columbus are quite different from each other.
Yep.
What kind of culture changes did you experience coming here?
Well, the culture changes, I suppose, were not as shocking as they could have been. They could have been worse because after Maine, I lived in New York City, and so that was quite culture shock from a farm to Manhattan. And then from Manhattan, I then moved to Fayetteville, North Carolina, again, for the soldier, and that was culture shock because it was the South. I'd never been in the South before. I've been to Florida, but that's not the South.
Right.
So that was culture shock. But then coming from Fayetteville to Columbus was a pretty easy adjustment because there's a lot more to Columbus than just the military. So I've been able to, meet and connect with a lot of people who do a lot of various things. People who work at AFAC and people who work at like all the other companies that are here, people who are in college, not just the military. And I think that's kind of helped Ophir Drive be able to get more involved in the scene here because there's people who aren't just coming and going all the time. There are actually people in Columbus who live here and work here and are here. So, but yeah, probably the biggest transition I would say is the weather. Yeah. Even in New York, we still had similar weather to Maine, and down here, these summers are brutal. I'm used to them now, but they're still really hot. So.
Our summers are quite warm.
Yeah, it's an understatement.
Now, you lived on a farm in Maine. Did you live anywhere near the coast, or were you like...
No, I was inland. I was pretty much dead central. I was about halfway from like Canada to New Hampshire, from everything. I was pretty much in the middle. But I did, in the summertime, I did spend time out near the coast, like the hiking trips I used to lead and stuff. We would tend to end up right around the coast. It was really pretty. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Maine has a very... I've never been there, but I've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
Maine is a beautiful area.
It really is. Like I said, beautiful but boring.
So So tell me about breaking horses or training horses. Tell me about that aspect of your growing up.
Well, like I said, I started training horses when I was 8, and so I'm not a very big person anyway. So like midget me at 8 years old. I think the first one I trained was a pony, I think, and pony weighs like 1,000 pounds, and here's me, and I'm like, you're gonna do what I want you to do, and it's a lot of hard work, and you have to really be ready. I fell a lot. I've been bitten, I've been kicked, and but you keep doing it, and eventually the horse gets his manners, and then you're good to go. And so it was really cool. I got to meet a lot of people, and I worked with a lot of different horses. Some were mine, some were my friends, and that was really cool because horses are, like, when they come to you and they don't know anything, you have a lot of work to do, but after they've been trained and you're good, like, it's a pretty cool accomplishment. It takes a while, but
a lot of discipline, I would assume.
Yeah.
Now, okay, today you are a musician.
Yes.
And how would you associate, or could you make a comparison, or would you make a comparison of the discipline that it takes? Obviously, there's a lot of discipline involved in breaking horses, translating into your music.
Well, I hadn't really thought of it that way until you had mentioned that to me. But I can actually see a connection, because I learned at a young age that if I was going to do something, I had to do it. When you buy a horse, like, you're kind of stuck. You have to feed it, you have to train it, or it's just really awful. And like I said, I've been kicked, stomped on, thrown, but I still would get back up and get back on that horse and make it do what I wanted it to. I mean, obviously not in a bad way. I didn't beat anybody, but and I do that with music too. Like, there are days when I just when I feel like the whole industry is against me, or I've missed my shot or whatever, but this is the only thing that I want to do with my life, and so I have no choice. I have to get up, do it again, but I'm okay because I like it. So yeah.
Some days music is a strange animal. Some days it's just wonderful. Yep. And some days it's like kicking a dead horse.
Yeah, it really is. Like, some days it's like, go away, and the only thing that you can do on days like that is like take a deep breath, put your instruments down, stay home, go under the covers, and wait for tomorrow to come. And tomorrow always comes. So you always have another chance, and you learn and go about it differently the next time, and hope for a better outcome. So.
Yes. Like Bob Dylan said, the only thing I knew how to do was keep on keeping on.
Yeah, and that's what we're all doing.
So when did you decide that you wanted to do music? When did you see that, I want to be a musician?
That was a long time coming, to quote Bob Dylan again. I started singing. I've been singing my whole life. I started playing the flute in the 4th grade, and then the next year we had a chorus in the school, so I joined the chorus, and we had an audition-only vocal ensemble, and I did that. And I did both all through middle school, and in high school at some point I quit playing the flute so I could focus on singing, and then I started taking voice lessons in opera. So that's my dirty secret, I'm an opera singer.
Cool.
Let's see, I started writing songs in high school, but I didn't know how to play the guitar, and so I would always have to find a guy to play guitar for me. And, me being the personality that I am, I was like, this isn't cool. I have to get boys to play for me, and now look at me with a band, but, whatever. And so I decided that I wanted to learn how to play something, but girls obviously I grew up in a tiny town, and there weren't a whole lot of people who played, but one of my girlfriend's dads was a musician, and so when we'd go to her house, we'd play with his instruments, and I started playing the bass really poorly when I was about 15, and we would just jam when I would hang out at her house. But it wasn't until my 18th birthday that I saved up all my money, and I bought myself a guitar for my 18th birthday. Wow. And I started, like, that whole summer before college, I pretty much locked myself in my room and just played all the time. Really awful playing, but I still did that. And I got to college and I started doing acoustic shows, and that was cool, but I would say it was probably my sophomore year of college before I decided, okay, I don't want to do anything else. This is what I want. And that kind of came with the experience of playing shows and really connecting with an audience. I had a lot of really awesome audience connections at my first few shows that really kind of showed me this is what I need to be doing. And I feel at home on stage. I don't get nervous. A lot of people get nervous, and I just feel like I belong there. But, that took a little while. So, yeah, I would say it was when I was about 19 and in college, when I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to play music. But I still graduated. So.
Well, that's really cool. And speaking of playing music and guitars, we're now going to go to one of Sarah's songs.
Cool. All right. Once again, I'm Sarah J. from Ophir Drive. This song is called Leave Me Alone, and this is available on our album that I talked about in the interview.
So why don't you leave me here on my own? You can't deceive me, I know you're wrong, and I know it's over, it's been so long. So why don't you leave me alone, leave me alone. Twisted game of love, I refuse to play my part, 'cause it might be too hard for you. So why don't you leave me here on my own? You can't deceive me, I know you're wrong, and I know it's over, it's been so long. So why don't you leave me? Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Certain appearances stabbing. I thought I left you locked away. So paint a green for peace and let me move on. You never loved me anyway, 'cause it was just too hard for you. So why don't you leave me here on my own? You can't deceive me, I know you're wrong, and I know it's over, it's been so long. So why don't you leave me alone? Hey, why don't you leave me alone? Hey, why don't you leave me alone? Leave me alone.